fellow small business supporters. Today, I thought I would tackle one of the most controversial topics, one of the most hotly debated topics of all time in the indie author community. Is IngramSpark better than CreateSpace or KDP? Now, normally, I tend to be a very balanced, very nuanced person when it comes to what is better, what is right. When there comes to being two sides or three sides or more of an issue, I tend to consider everything equally. When I'm not your gay aunt from the 80s, I'm out masquerading as your annoyingly centrist Generation X uncle who comes to Thanksgiving to talk about both sides, right? That's me. I can do that. But when it comes to IngramSpark, all rationality goes out the window because IngramSpark can eat my whole entire butt. It's Savvy. If you're new here, please don't forget to subscribe to this channel because every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday I have new videos coming out about books and writing. Today's video is going to be about writing and also about publishing platforms and that type of thing. So, as you guys know, I am an indie author. I like to write books. Sometimes I like to self-publish them, but I also have made my own business for publishing books. I have lots of videos on this topic. I'll link some of them up in the cards. But a few years ago, I made the mistake of putting my trust into IngramSpark and thinking that because Ingram is a well-known company that has a lot of people vouching for them, that they would come through for me. But no, you know what happens when you're a business that has a large presence and a lot of people follow you? You don't have anything to lose. You guys know that in every video I say, don't forget to support small businesses. I say, what's up, my fellow small business supporters? You know who doesn't support small businesses? IngramSpark. So we're gonna do a bit of an AuthorTube story time today, and I'm gonna rant at you guys because based on my entire Rachel Hollis series having like the highest views of anything I ever posted, other than the video about my boobs, but we're not going to count that one for obvious reasons. It seems that you guys really like to hear me complain about things, so complain I will. Back in 2017, I was starting my business, The Forever Home Friends, a series of picture books and stuffed animals based on real rescue dogs. Now, back in 2017, I did not have a lot of the business knowledge that I have now, so a lot of things about this business were very different than they are now. For example, all of our stuffed animals were handmade back in 2017. All of them, every single one. So not only were the mock-ups, like my mom designs all of our stuffed animals, not only did she design the mock-ups that we then sent to the manufacturer, I didn't have money to pay a manufacturer for stuffed animals in bulk, so for every order, we would just hand make them. You know how long it took? Forever. You know what it was? Unsustainable. So after a while, I had to just mark the stuffed animals as all sold out on the website until I could save up and afford that. So that was a whole thing. Another thing on top of that was that I thought a good place for these books would be in bookstores, right? Because people go to bookstores to buy books. No shit. People also go on Amazon to buy books, so I was like, okay, if I want the best chance of getting sales online and in bookstores and everything, then I should probably use IngramSpark because a lot of bookstores tend to not want to buy from KDP or from CreateSpace. They don't want to buy inventory up front. Sometimes they'll sell those on consignment, but a lot of bookstores don't like to buy those up front because Amazon's kind of a big bookstore enemy, right? Because it's a big behemoth of a big business, and most bookstores, other than Barnes & Noble, most other bookstores right now are small businesses. So they don't want to try to compete with Amazon, and they don't want to be funding things that are put out by Amazon. It's a whole hot mess, right? But a lot of them will buy things that are put out through Ingram because Ingram is pretty much one of the world's largest book distributors. So they buy most of their stock from Ingram, from traditional publishers, from small presses, from big presses, from self-publishers, from whatever. They buy it from Ingram, right? That's their favorite place. That's their one-stop shop. So I decided, what if I put these books out through IngramSpark? And at first I was like, this is a good idea because IngramSpark lets you get the books made in hardcover. It lets you set up bookstore discounts right then and there. Seems like we're in a good place. Nope, we weren't in a good place. It all started off when I was trying to set up the book. So when I set up the book, I downloaded their cover template. I followed their cover template to the letter. I uploaded it. It said, okay, we're gonna review this book over 3 days to make sure it fits our requirement. I waited 3 days. They said, sorry, your cover image is wrong. Doesn't fit our requirements. I was like, well, what's wrong about it? Something was wrong about the PDF size or something, but I couldn't figure out what it was because I was literally putting my image onto their exact template. So I was so confused. Then IngramSpark hits me with, it's $25 setup fee for your cover. I'm sorry, there's a setup fee. I literally used your template, put my cover on it exactly as I wanted it. You kept making me wait 3 business days to tell me it was wrong, not tell me what to fix. Then I'd get on customer service. They would try to tell me what to fix. I would fix what they told me. It still wouldn't work. I got on the phone with my friend who's a graphic designer and who does professional book layout to see if she could help me. I told her I'd pay her for it even though I was running out of Kickstarter budget. This whole thing's happening, right, while I have 140 Kickstarter backers waiting to get their books in the mail because I launched this as a Kickstarter. So I had all these people waiting to get their books. I budgeted enough time so that based on because I had published Beauty King through CreateSpace before this, so I had like an idea of sort of the timeline. I did not know that IngramSpark was going to take 5 fucking times as long to happen because there's going to be an error every single step of the way. So they're like, you have to pay $25 for the cover setup fee. Now that's on me. I should have researched and found out that there was a cover setup fee. I mean, in my defense, I didn't think there was any reason for there to be one, considering they don't do shit to set up the cover because their automated system kept rejecting my PDF for some unknown reason that I still don't fully get, but I was able to fix somehow over time. So they were charging me a fee to do nothing. So I was pretty mad about that. I uploaded the interior files and they're like, oh, here's your $45 interior setup fee. Excuse me? So I was launching 2 books with this Kickstarter. This Kickstarter was to launch both Princess Allie and Smile Chewie. I had 2 books I had to give out, so I had to pay 2 cover setup fees and 2 interior setup fees. That's 4 setup fees for an automated system that's doing nothing. So I had to call customer service so many times, right? So after having been on the phone with customer service, which I guess that's what the setup fee is going for the fact that I have to spend hours on the phone with customer service, but call that a customer service fee then or whatever, I don't know. Their printing rates are already so ridiculously high that they shouldn't be charging any fees, but we will get to that. Anyway, I move on to finally having the book ready to print, and I'm like, okay, I need to order about 200 copies of this because I have 140 pre-orders from my Kickstarter. Then I have a book launch party that's coming up at a bookstore. Then I am taking this to a whole bunch of festivals, so like I want to have some stock on hand to start out with. I didn't want the book to be available until August 11th, 2017 because that was the release date I had set. That was the release date I was promoting. So it was up on IngramSpark. I didn't want it being distributed and up for sale on Amazon, and I didn't want bookstores to be able to order. I didn't want anyone to be able to order the book before its release date because that's the release date, right? And I didn't want people ordering it before my Kickstarter backers had gotten their copy because that's not fair either. It lets you set the release date of when it's available, so I chose August 11th because that was the release date. So I tried to order the books, like my own stock, no shipping notification. So guess what I do again? I call up customer service and I was like, yo, so the books haven't been shipping to me. Do I need to say that the books are immediately available because it's not the release date yet? Do I need to say that they're immediately available and set the release date to right now just so I can order my stock of them to have on hand to send to my customers? And they were like, no, you don't need to do that. Just put in the release date because if you put in that right now they're available, they'll be available everywhere. And I was like, okay. So they're like, so don't do that. You can still order your own copies. And I was like, great. So you'll ship them to me. And they were like, yeah. They still don't come. Weeks go by. And I was like, okay. Weeks have gone by. I still don't have my books. I still need to take 140 packages to the goddamn post office, right? To send these out to everyone. And that's not even including the stuffed animals that I'm trying to hand make with my mom this whole time. That one's on me, thinking we could hand make all the stuffed animals when we had, I think, 63 stuffed animal pre-orders. Big mistake, never again, that's why they're manufactured now. So I continue to not get the books. So I call up IngramSpark customer service yet again, get a different person. And they say, you didn't say that the book could be printed yet. I'm like, no, I literally told the last person I was on the phone with customer service, I said, I need the books to get printed and shipped and sent to me. I'm not writing that they're available for sale yet because I don't want them going up on Amazon. I don't want anyone to be able to order them. I don't want them to be available for purchasing yet, but I need my printed copies. So they were like, no, you have to put that the release date is now. I'm like, you're telling me literally the opposite of what the person before me told me, right? Because now we're like weeks and weeks and weeks behind of where I was supposed to be because the cover setup took forever because you kept making me wait 3 whole business days to tell me that my cover was wrong once again and then not be able to tell me how to fix it when I was on the phone with you. And then finally when the cover was right, you charged me a whole bunch of fees out the ass and then you didn't send me my books and then you told me I didn't need to set the release date and now you're telling me I do? Like, so you're telling me I have to make them available now. And they're like, yeah. I'm like, okay, well you should have told me that the first time. So I was like, y'all need to give me expedited shipping. I'm not paying for expedited shipping, but you need to give it to me. I guess being both your gay aunt from the 80s and your Generation X radical centrist sees both sides uncle at the same time makes me a perfect version of a can I talk to the manager? Look, I even have my head shaved on one side. So yeah, and they were like, okay, so at least they gave me that, right? At least they gave me that. So I get the books and they're fine, but let me tell you, at the same time as I was doing this, I also set up all the books on CreateSpace to have a paperback version to see, because I knew their process was easier. I uploaded the covers for the paperback version using the IngramSpark hardcover template. I used the wrong template for the wrong type of book to upload onto CreateSpace, and it still came out right. Because they're not, like, they don't have a stick up their ass about the exact cover. Like, they know how to print a cover, and they also didn't charge me a fee for it. So right now I was all like, CreateSpace is better, right? But then CreateSpace merged with KDP, which I have some thoughts on, but not clear or coherent enough thoughts to yet make my own video about that. But basically, at the end of 2017, I was like, CreateSpace is greater than IngramSpark. And I also wasn't doing ebooks at this point because Forever Home Friends is a print-only series. We don't do ebooks. We do have our, like, downloadable workbook, but that's the only thing. Anyway, when I got both samples in the mail, my CreateSpace proof came, like, weeks ahead of the IngramSpark proof, by the way, even though I ordered it afterwards, so that's a whole nother thing. I got both proofs. The CreateSpace proof had bright, vivid colors, nice, thick paper, easy to turn pages, while the IngramSpark proof had much lower quality, thinner paper, and in order to get better quality paper or more vivid colors, I was going to have to pay even more for printing, which means that I would have had to charge like minimum of $20 to $25 per book in order to have anything left at all to donate to the animal shelter. So I was like, I need to print them cheaper because I need to be able to donate to the animal shelter. And IngramSpark was still charging me over $7 a book to print them, right? So I was like, what? Now I have friends who get their books printed in China and get full color hardcovers printed for under $2 a book. So moving my printing to China is like a next step in my business that I'm going to talk about later. I finally got my books. They looked fine. I actually did an unboxing video where I unboxed the proofs from IngramSpark that took forever to get there. You can't see the anger in my face because I was still new to making videos and I was much more like, hi, I'm Savvy. I'm happy about everything. I don't complain on the internet. Now I complain on the internet. So the orders went out to the customers. I released the third book, Just Me Wrigley, and the fourth book, Kringle's Christmas, in only paperback because I wasn't fucking with IngramSpark anymore. But the story doesn't end there! I have tried since then to get into bookstores and to get into other stores. So generally with my Forever Home Friends series, I sell stock to stores as inventory for them to stock outright. It's usually not bookstores that they're in. Generally they're in like local business type of stores or stores that sell interesting art things. Right now I'm trying to target stores that sell like animal related things, thinking of going to a couple zoos in Chicago for their gift shops, as well as some like children's hospital gift shops. Basically, I'm targeting a whole bunch of things outside of bookstores because it's not just books, right? It's books and stuffed animals. It's a whole movement about animals and adoption and that kind of thing. So I'm doing more than just bookstores. I've tried to sell them to a few bookstores who were willing to buy inventory outright instead of taking them on consignment because I don't do consignment. It's a paperwork nightmare, okay? So I tell them about the Forever Home Friends and a few people say like, oh, are they available on Ingram? And I'm like, well, the first two books are, and they're like, great, okay, we'll check out Ingram. Because a few bookstores are like, we only buy from Ingram. And I'm like, yo, I'm my own small business. IngramSpark is not the publisher of these books, right? I'm the like Forever Home Friends is the publisher of these books. This is a business. I was using them essentially as a printing service. I own my ISBNs. I own the rights to everything. Like, this is my business. This is not their business. But still, they're like, no, we only buy books through Ingram. And I understand that. Like, that's no shade at bookstores because bookstores are also small businesses that I support the hell out of. And they have a hard enough time trying to manage all their purchase orders, all their inventory, trying to keep track of all of that without having to write individual checks and manage individual invoices to every small business who approaches them. So I totally understand how it would be so much easier for them to just order it with their other Ingram stock that's coming in. I get it. But those stores would come back to me and they would say, well, they're only offering a 5% discount on Ingram. I'm like, excuse me? I put on IngramSpark that these books were going to be available to bookstores at a 40% discount. So the hardcovers were listed at $15. Bookstores could buy them for $9. They're like, no, it's telling me we only get a 5% discount. So I went in the system. It wasn't telling me that. It was how I said it. So I was so confused. And then I thought maybe just this one bookstore was confused, but it was every single bookstore I went to that did that. And I was just like, basically, I was like, I am so done with IngramSpark. I am never putting a book up there again. They've caused me so much trouble. In fact, next time I put out a new Forever Home Friends book, basically what I'm doing right now is I'm saving up so that I can get the books printed in bulk, because printing them individually costs too much. I want to get them printed for $1 or less a piece because I'm mainly using paperbacks. And that's my next step of the way. I'm kind of saving up money to be able to get them printed in quantity of 1,000 per book at a time for 4 books. So that's basically 4,000 books I need to get printed all at once. So to get those all printed and then all shipped from China, in total it's going to be about $5,000 that I'm saving up right now. So every single thing I do is saving up to make that happen, because I'm not dealing with print on demand when I'm trying to run a business in that way. Like, I will deal with print on demand, like if I self-publish this sequel to Sculptor Self, like Indecent Exposure, maybe I'll do print on demand for that, because I like what it has to offer in some cases. But when I'm trying to run a business that I'm trying to scale, IngramSpark just made it a living nightmare. So that's my experience with IngramSpark. Now, I know a lot of you guys have had good experiences with them, and honestly, I'm trying to learn more about this whole process as I go. So people who have had good experiences with IngramSpark, or people who have had good experiences getting your book into like Book Depository and Barnes & Noble and all that, just talk to me, let me know if you have any advice for those next steps of the way, because so far, my experience with this particular platform has been overwhelmingly negative. The quality of the books was lower than I wanted. The prices were higher than I wanted. The customer service people were very nice, so let me give them that. The customer service people were very nice. This is no shade whatsoever at IngramSpark's customer service people. I cannot make that clear enough. They were very nice people. I gave them all very high ratings on the customer service survey, right? And they were doing their job the best they could. I blame the company as a whole. The fact that Ingram is basically having somewhat of a monopoly. I don't know if it's a complete monopoly, but they're kind of dominating the market of book distribution. And it's making it difficult for small businesses. It's making it difficult for people like me to come in and to say, hey, I need someone to print my books. I need them in a smaller quantity, so I'm going to use print on demand. And they're like, all right, let's charge you out the ass, right? It gives me more faith in things like crowdfunding, because, you know, the more I crowdfund books in the future, the more I can gather money up front to get books printed in bulk, or to get things printed where I don't have to use these kind of things. But, I mean, overall, I do like print on demand. I've had a good experience with CreateSpace overall. I've had less of a good experience since the KDP merger. Like, I think that CreateSpace was better on its own than it was merged with KDP. But that's another story for another day after I gather my thoughts on that. But overall, my worst experience with print on demand has been with IngramSpark. What do you guys think of IngramSpark? What do you think of CreateSpace, KDP? What do you think of any book printing service that you've ever used? Please let me know in the comments below. Also, if you have recommendations for people that print books in bulk at low prices, please let me know in the comments below as well. Because while I am talking to like 3 different companies right now and getting quotes from them and kind of weighing the pros and cons and looking at getting samples, I'm always looking for new places to shop around, because before I drop a couple thousand on everything, which believe me, I don't have anything close to that right now, before I drop that much money on anything, I absolutely need to look into everything about it. So if you have any recommendations for companies like that, please let me know. Before we go, let's do a quick small business shout out today. So today's small business shout out is to my wedding ring and my engagement ring. If you can see it from here, obviously when I got married, I had to do so by supporting small businesses. I actually did look at jewelry stores for wedding rings, and that's a whole new Storytime video I could do. But basically everyone was like, your budget is under $300 for an engagement ring? Here's the clearance bin, you plebeian, right? Like, it was so rude. So I went to Etsy to buy an engagement ring and a wedding ring from a small business, and this is my engagement ring. It is titanium with sapphire instead of platinum with diamond, because that's how you save money. You also save money by buying from independent jewelry makers who don't feel the need to jack their prices way up in the name of the wedding industry. So that's what I basically did. I like to brag about the cost of my engagement ring, which was $150. Yeah, my engagement ring costs like the same amount as one of my American Girl dolls. That's pretty cool. Also, these are our wedding rings. Tyler and I have matching wedding rings. They are titanium with rose gold band across them. So if you guys are looking for jewelry, even outside of wedding rings, that kind of thing, I'm not sponsored. I need to get sponsored because I'm shouting out these small businesses. You don't need to sponsor me. I just want to support you anyway. The Aladdin's Cave on Etsy. It's a company in the UK run by a guy named Chris, and he does a great job on all the jewelry. The prices are super reasonable. The jewelry is so strong. So definitely check that out. Other than that, let me know your thoughts on this video. If you want to check out some of my books that were not made using IngramSpark, you can check out Sculpt Yourself and Beauty King, both of my young adult, new adult novels, which are linked in the description below. You can also check out the Forever Home Friends series because I don't use IngramSpark for that anymore. In fact, I sell them off of my own website, foreverhomefriends.com. And I have both books and cute little plushies, all based on real rescue dogs, and 10% of all our profits go to benefit animal shelters. So you definitely want to check that out. Foreverhomefriends.com is linked in the description below. Another thing real quick, it is September 20th today, meaning there are only 10 days left to get the Forever Home Friends activity workbook. I have said in videos in the past that workbook is a back to school special, so it was available from the end of August until the end of September. So September 30th is the last day that book is going to be available, and then it is going away for the season. So if you are interested in getting cute coloring pages and writing prompts and reading guides, it's especially good if you have kids who enjoy the Forever Home Friends books, kids who like dogs. If you're a teacher and you have students, you're looking for some worksheets for them, check out the Forever Home Friends activity workbook. There is no shipping cost because it is a PDF download that you can download to your computer. So definitely check that out, linked in the description below. Just like all of our products, 10% of profits go to benefit animal shelters. So it is a win-win for everybody. I will see you guys on Monday, but in the meantime, be like me, don't be like IngramSpark, and support small businesses. Bye, friends!